Okay, hello, this is Peter Galante with,
Cassandra Coop.
and we're going to look at the match motion assignment. If you go to the web and you type in match motion, you may not get what we're looking for here. Basically, many filmmakers call this a motion cut, but we're going to call it match motion for a reason. I think we're going to divide this into two sections. I'm going to show you a couple examples, and then we're going to look at a couple of videos that are on lynda.com. So I'm just going to run through some examples that kind of work out pretty good. So I'm going to play this one here, if it plays. Okay, so here's another example of rack focus. The focus is pulled to his face from the blanket. He's jumping up, reaches the door, and he comes out the door. So that is a really good example of what we're talking about in match motion. I'm going to stop this for a second. I'm going to back it up. So he reaches the door here, right? Opens the door, and we pick him up from the outside, and the motion is continuous. Where he starts coming through the door is where he's left off in the last shot, right? And then we go on a little bit further. He leaves the frame, and we pick him up coming down the stairs. Okay, so that's a good example of match motion. Then he runs around the corner, opens the refrigerator, and that's again a perfect example. He opens the refrigerator and looks inside. So that's another typical match motion. We get the shot from the outside of the cabinet or refrigerator, and then the shot from the inside. Okay, he has his desperate drink of energy drink, and he's done, right? Okay, so we're going to look at this next one here. Again, it's almost the same shot, that same kind of thing. Reaches the door and opens the refrigerator. But unfortunately, the rest of the video is not very good. Okay, so we're going to move to the next one here. Here's a pretty good one the whole time. So as he leaves the frame, he enters the frame in the same place each time. Okay, so we're going to look at that one again. So as he comes to the door here, he reaches the door, steps through, and now we're looking at from another angle, and he's in the same place. Right? Leaves the frame, and then enters the frame at the same place from a different angle. Right here, he's going to leave the frame again, and we're going to pick him up from the other side. He's reaching to the same place. His hand is hitting the same place, essentially, from both pictures. So he goes and he reaches up around. See if I can move it frame by frame. Right? And he comes around. And it's the same thing. He just keeps going. He leaves the frame and enters the frame again. So it's a really good example of match motion. This is how you hide cuts. You change your camera angle, but the person has to, or the actor has to be doing the same action again. So that means you shoot longer than you need, and you start earlier than you need. And then we're going to do what we call slip and slide cuts in Premiere. So this is another good one. Has good examples of rack focus plus match motion. So again, the first match motion was the shot was down here where the bow is, and then we cut to another angle and the bow lifts right up into position and it seems seamless, right? And he launches the arrow, and then we catch the arrow hitting the target. Right? Now it's the same thing. He pulls it up again. This is another good example of both rack focus because it comes from his face to the arrow and then back to his face. Okay, another good example of overall match motion. Let's check this one out here. This one's kind of funny in the dorms here, you know. Out the door, and we pick him up coming right out the door from the other angle. And then he's down the stairs, and he goes out the door, and we pick him up again, passing, so it looks seamless. Okay? So that's what we mean by match motion in terms of what we expect from your assignments. All right, let's see if we got one more here that might be acceptable. This one's pretty interesting. Spins around, and again, so she spins around, and we pick her up from a different angle, but she's doing the same movement. Okay. Walks off camera, walks into the frame, hits the doorknob, right? The door starts to open, and then we pick her up in the same thing, coming through in the same seamless feel. Okay, this is the way that on-campus students live. They're very neat. Okay, so, all right, so those are the basic match motion examples here. Now I'm just going to stop this. We're going to pick it up, and we're going to talk a little bit about the tools to do this in Premiere. It gets pretty complex. We're going to stop, and we're going to pick it up in the next video.